Welcome, AEIS artists. Today we are going to be working on one of the last pieces for our project where we were thinking about hopefully and working monochromatically and now also thinking about the artist and the Zen place that this artist did. So we're going to try to create a scene on one of your watercolor sheets where you're going to make yourself or a person really small, because we're small in comparison to the universe. And where would that scene be? Where do you like to go, real or imaginary? And I love to go for walks out in the countryside. Here's another one that I did. I was flying a kite because kites are kind of fun to fly. So you're going to think about what type of scene that you want to create, okay? So for today, you might need your pencil and a Sharpie, and if you think you can control your paint enough, you can use a skinny brush and black, or any color, really, one color though. Again, we're being focused on monochromatic, so working in one color to create a scene so that the viewer isn't distracted from the color that you have, but are more focused on the message that you're trying to create. So you can use either one that is just monochromatic, or you can use one of your sheets where you did some glazing on top. So the one I have left is a purple one where I glazed orange on top. I like the color combination. So I am going to think about my scene. I'm going to focus my paper down. So you should have a paper towel if you're going to work with paint, and a brush and some water. So let's focus down so that you can see what I'm doing down by my scene. So this is my paper here. I think I'm going to start with pencil first so that I can erase if I need to. So remember, you're going to draw yourself really small somewhere, and you can kind of turn your paper around to see what will work best. I think I'll go this way. You can use some of the lines that are already there, like some of the shading that you did. If you're going to add more color, another glaze on top, then you can't do your final product because you don't want to work wet and wet. So let's just go again. I think I'll go again with a mountain scene. So I'm just going to draw some lines. I think I'll use this as a sunset. So I'm going to be walking. You want to divide your space up so that you have some interesting sections. And then you also want to maybe thicken some lines. Again, we're just kind of playing around with the ideas of lines, designs, and shapes. I'm going to add some trees. And I'm going to switch to my marker because I think I know exactly what I want to do, but you can certainly still draw yours out. So try to remember that things in the foreground closest to the edge of the paper will be larger than something in the tiny background. So I'm going to draw my little stick person right here, and they're just going for a walk along a mountainside. I'm going to make this line thick. And again, I'm going lightly with my marker so that I don't ruin my Sharpie. You could use a regular Crayola marker because we're not adding water on top. And I'm just going to draw a scene. I'm going to let those intersect because whenever you overlap something, it always makes it look more interesting as well. So you're drawing your scene, real or imaginary, of where you like to go. So this tree is going to be larger because it's in the foreground. So I'm going to make it really big and color it in. I think it'll be fall, so I won't have a lot of leaves on it. So back here, I think I'll draw little trees. They're in the background. So if you were to try to do this with your paint, again, you're going to get your brush wet because your colors might be dry. And I'm going to use black. However, you could use one of the other colors that you have. Don't use multiple colors. Again, we're trying to focus not on color here, but on the message or the design versus color. So I'm activating my paint by twirling my brush. And especially if I'm trying to control the black brush with a thin line, I want to make sure that I have color, but not a lot of water. So I'm going to use my paper towel to take away some of the water. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my brush pretty much up and down so that I'm just using the tip, and I'm going to try and create, it's a really light touch. So try to do a really light touch. And I'm having my hand on the table to brace me. We don't want anything to float, so I'm going to add some lines here to keep myself grounded so my trees aren't floating. And again, if you're using the paintbrush, make sure that you've got a nice tip on your brush and you're controlling it so nothing is wet, but the paint that you're using, the black paint, my background is dry. Okay, so you can play around with the black brush or a paintbrush. I could have used the color purple because I already have purple down here. So again, we're trying not to distract from our scene by adding lots of color. Okay, so have fun today creating your Zen-like scene that you are wanting to be, being reminded about our poet who liked to be in nature. And again, you're going to draw yourself small, so you're going to exaggerate the background and create yourself small because we're small in the scope of the universe. So have fun creating, again, either with a Sharpie, or you certainly can use paint with a small brush and create your scene of where you like to go, what makes you happy. Again, simple lines, don't make it too complicated. So enjoy this last step of creating like our artist Shinzu.